Tonight on CTV News at 8, New Belgium Brewing gave CSU's Fermentation Science program a big present on Monday. See just what it is and how it will help the program. And we take a look at how CSU's Rodeo Club is getting ready for their 50th annual Stampede Rodeo. Plus, see the stylish look seniors created for this year's fashion show. CTV News starts right now.
Good evening, and thanks for watching CTV this evening. I'm Caitlin Conley.
And I'm Carson Bush-Jost. New Belgium Brewing Company and co-founder Kim Jordan have donated $1 million to Colorado State's Fermentation Science program. Jordan donated $500,000 to herself, and New Belgium's philanthropy wing will be donating the other half. The money donated will be used to renovate a laboratory, brewing space, and classroom in the Gifford building, and the new area will be named the New Belgium Fermentation Science and Technology Laboratory. Brian Simpson, the Media Relations Director at New Belgium, hopes this will much improve the program.
I think our greatest hope for this donation is that CSU is able to use this to improve the lab facilities there, to give people the actual tools they need to get hands-on experience, because this is a very hands-on type industry. Craft brewing is a very sensory experience. You have to taste it, you're getting in there, and you have to have the right tools to work with to be able to grow your knowledge base.
Collegian reporter is with us now to discuss the ASCSU presidential election.
Thanks so much for being on the show tonight, Lawrence. Polls close tomorrow afternoon, and it's very important students not only know to vote, but they need to know more about the campaign and the legislation.
Thanks for having me on the show tonight, Carson and Caitlin. I completely agree with you that people need more information, and so I'm going to go more in depth about that right now. During the 2015 ASCSU presidential race, many campaigns have advocated for transparency. In that spirit, the Collegian and CTV have compiled a comprehensive list of legislation that each candidate worked on in their time in Senate. As much of the candidates' work is represented in Senate. As candidates, with the exception of Vice Presidential candidate Taylor Alba, have written, sponsored, or endorsed pieces of legislation. To clarify, sponsoring legislation means the individual believes a piece of legislation deserves recognition and argumentation. Endorsing legislation means the individual acknowledges full support, especially the therefore clauses. It's important to recognize each piece of legislation may have been contributed to by other members of ASCSU not running for office. Presidential candidate Quan Yearby served in Senate for a year and a half before his impeachment, was a part of 16 pieces of legislation. 6 of those passed. Candidate Lauren Wester, serving as President Sam Gwynn's Deputy Chief of Staff and is in her second year for the Executive Cabinet, was a part of 5 pieces of legislation. 4 of those passed. Candidate Jason Sidoriak, serving in his first term in Senate, was a part of 7 pieces of legislation. 3 of those passed, and 2 are awaiting a vote on the Senate floor. Although Yearby and Sidoriak worked on more pieces of legislation than Wester, it's worth mentioning that as a part of the Executive Cabinet, it is not Wester's direct responsibility to be involved with Senate. It's also worth mentioning that based on the content of the legislation, Yearby has worked on more controversial pieces, such as diversity and college council bills, forcing multiple drafts and compromises, while Wester and Sidoriak have pushed legislation with a narrow focus, allowing those pieces of legislation to be pushed through much easier. Wester has a focus on internal ASCSU matters, and Sidoriak concentrates on finance and armed service members. Vice presidential candidate Clayton King, in his first term in Senate, was a part of 14 pieces of legislation. 8 of those passed. Candidate Philippe Dittergrook, in his second term in Senate, was a part of 4 pieces of legislation. 3 of those passed. Candidate Taylor Alba, serving as Deputy Director of Student Services, was a part of no pieces of legislation. Alba, much like Wester, holds a job description that does not require her to be involved within Senate. Her work is represented in the executive branch. Of the 6 candidates, only King has endorsed any pieces of legislation, totaling 4 out of the 8 passed with his name on them. To view the full list and each individual piece of legislation, visit collegian.com.
Well, thanks a lot, Lawrence, for giving us some insight on there. Why is it so important for students to vote tomorrow?
It is absolutely crucial for students to go out to the voting polls tomorrow, because right now we're holding about a 15% voting retention rate.
Wow.
That means that only about 15% of the student population is going out to actually vote. Now, if you feel like your voice isn't heard or you feel like there is no impact with that, please go out to the polls tomorrow and exercise your rights.
All right, thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you. Well, in other election news, tonight is the 2015 Fort Collins municipal election. The polls closed at 7 this evening, and results are expected to be announced within the hour. Stay with thecollegian.com and follow us on Twitter at @thecollegianc for live election updates.
If you didn't know, this week is National Public Health Week, and it's the first time CSU has brought the initiative to campus. On Monday, CSU Student Council set up a table in the Montfort Quad, giving more information to students about the week. It's focused on bringing awareness to what people can do for themselves and their community to be healthier. Events will continue throughout the week, all of which are posted on the Source website. Remember, there's a lot of easy things you can do to stay fit.
Public health is very relevant to just about every major that a student could be involved in on campus, and then also improving themselves in whatever form that may take, whether that's adding more exercise into your day, eating a healthier lunch, wearing your helmet when you ride your bike around campus. There's a lot.
Do you want to get a beautiful product and help out women who've been affected by sex trafficking? Reporter Rachel Vigil has got the inside story about some amazing handmade products helping women all over the world.
The Enslaved event focused on women who were in the red light district, and many companies brought homemade jewelry and clothing to CSU last week. Lisa Christopherson from UCount talked about some of their products.
This is a bag from Kolkata. Each bag out of Kolkata is also signed by the girl that has made them, and I've met these women. This is a bracelet out of Mumbai, India, a wrap bracelet. We have lots of different products from all these different places. And
She also shared some stories about women that she had met.
I want to tell you the story about Geeta. This is a Geeta bag, and I met Geeta in Kolkata, India. She was trafficked at a very young age and was in the red light district for many, many years, and was able to get out and start making products and selling them in order to make an income. However, she fell back in and was trafficked back into the red light district. But when she heard that we were coming over to meet her from buying her products, she came out to see us and hasn't gone back since. So it's a real great story of rescue and freedom for Geeta. We also have quilts that are made out of Kolkata that are made out of recycled sari fabric. And sari means essence of womanhood in Bengali. And these are recycled fabrics that the women everything's hand done, make to give the fabric a new life. And they're very connected to their quilts because they say they are getting a new life and they're being patched in areas that they've been thinned way out, and the fabrics here have patches, all of them do, and it represents a rescued woman getting a new life. And all of our quilts are signed by the woman who made them.
With CTV, I'm Rachel Vigil.
If you have any questions or want to check out some of UCount's products, check out www.ucountcampaign.org.
It's just like your average bus, but a little more decked out and a little more purple. Busting is a sustainable solution that will carry commuters along 3 major service routes on the I-25 and I-70 corridor starting this summer. The transportation service is being petitioned to extend its days of operation by COPERG, a CSU chapter looking out for those students trying to get home on the weekends.
So what we're petitioning CDOT for is to open up the Saturday and Sunday routes, so that way students can go down to Denver or Colorado Springs or Glenwood Springs to go home for the weekend. And that way they're not stranded and having to, drive here back and forth, throughout the state. We want to make sure that they have that accessibility. So what COPERG is doing is petitioning students to make sure that we have the support and the numbers to show CDOT that, hey, students will use this program on the weekends and it's not going to be a waste of money for them to hire drivers and put wear and tear on the buses for those weekend routes.
The oldest collegiate rodeo is right here in Fort Collins. Colorado State University Rodeo Club is one of the largest and most active clubs located on campus. With over 30 members, the club competes for the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association. The club's 65th annual Skyline Stampede Rodeo runs from April 10th to the 12th. CTV's own Keith Albertson talked to Coach Shiloh Whitler at a recent barrel race competition about the future of the club.
CSU Rodeo, the Skyline Stampede, is one of the oldest collegiate rodeos in the nation, and so we just didn't want to see that die, and the program has kind of lost a lot of its foundation over the years, and so that's what we're trying to really build back.
Coming up after the break, Elizabeth Prosse will be with us for her spring forecast.
Plus, Double the Trouble is back for sports tonight. Stay tuned.
Skeller offers a traditional pub menu, 20 beers on tap, and even fresh-to-order pizza coming soon.
Stop by Sweet Sensations for a delicious bakery item, espresso, or any other coffee needs you may have.
Hi, welcome to Aspen Grill.
Aspen Grill is a student-operated restaurant located in the University Club. The food court features a number of different restaurants to satisfy your needs between classes.
Welcome back, Rams. I'm weather anchor Elizabeth Prossi with your latest weather update. Now, spring is in full bloom here on campus. As you can see, we even have one couple today who is outside practicing their swing dance moves. Looking out, we can see it is a lovely evening if you do want to wipe off the dust off your cowboy boots and take advantage of college night tonight at Sundance. Now, currently here in Fort Collins, it is 55 degrees with those clear skies. We do have a slight breeze out of the southeast at 8 miles per hour. Taking a look at the map for overnight lows, we can see we're going to be below the freezing mark in most areas across the state. 28 in Telluride, 23 degrees in Gunnison, 26 in Vail, and then 29 degrees in Craig for this evening. Take a look at that evening planner. We can see that while it is clear now, we do have those clouds rolling in, and there is even a slight chance of a spotty shower as we head into those evening and overnight hours, and we will cool down into those 40s by midnight tonight. Now, last week I mentioned how we will see a cooler and wetter April, and that is because there is a trough forming. As you notice, the highs for tomorrow are going to be a lot cooler than what we saw today. We've got 71 degrees in Pueblo, we've got 60s along the I-25 corridor, but then 59 Alamos, so 46 degrees in Gunnison, 40 degrees in Vail, and then 66 in Lyman. Now, looking at that Wednesday planner, we can see that while we start out with some clouds in the morning, we're going to see the sun try to break through those clouds, but then in the afternoon, that's where we're going to see a chance of a pop-up afternoon shower, but the best chance of rain will be heading tomorrow night into Thursday, and we will warm up to 6 degrees, so it's still going to be a nice spring day tomorrow. Now, what is happening is we've got this trough right here that is forming over Colorado, and that's going to bring us precipitation. We're going to see snow in the mountains, but here in the foothills we'll get more of rain. We may even see a little bit of snow mix in, but most of that precipitation is going to be rain. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, it's going to be very similar to what we saw last week, with a warm start to the week, cooling off Wednesday and Thursday with a slight breeze, and then warming back up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As you know, Saturday we're going to be right above 70 degrees, so it's going to be a lovely morning if you're running that Budweiser 5K, and just a great chance to get outdoors, maybe go for a hike at Horsetooth, because Sunday and then heading into Monday, as you notice, we're going to start cooling down. Those clouds are coming back in, and that's because we're getting ready for another system to move through the beginning of next week. Well, that's all the weather news I have for you. Grace, what's happening in the world of sports?
Thanks so much, Liz. An American football MVP came to Fort Collins on Monday, and it was not to talk about football. Hines Ward, a 2-time Super Bowl champion and the first Korean-American football MVP, came to CSU to talk about biracial diversity and his experiences on the road to success. Ward attributed most of his success to his mother. Ward wants to influence kids today off the football field, and he states that he wants to be a leader for the youth and biracial kids. We have Rachel Vigil on the show again. She realized that Tuesday was the best show, so she begged to be back on. We finally caved because we're such a nice crew.
Thank you for having me again, but I do love my Wednesday crew.
On Thursday, the Mountain West and Missouri Valley basketball conferences agreed to reinstate the men's Mountain West Missouri Valley Challenge. Rachel, what does this mean for Rams in the coming seasons?
I definitely think it's going to add to their season for sure. The Rams were in this challenge in 2009 and 2010, and then again in 2012 and 2013. They did go 2-2, so we lost both times on the road. So that worries me a little bit about this upcoming season since we are traveling to Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the road game is imperative. The NCAA committee said that CSU really needed to play those top 100 away teams. They needed to win those away games. That's why Boise was 25-9 last season, but still made it to the NCAA tournament, while we were 27-7 and didn't make it. So this is going to be super important. I think that if we're able to beat the Panthers, that's going to be a super big deal, and we'll actually have a run at the NCAA tournament.
No, yeah, in the 2012-2013 time, we actually made it to the tournament, so I think that definitely added a lot to it. So hopefully for this upcoming season, we can make it again.
Absolutely. Next weekend, Rachel and I will be flying our private jet filled with caviar and fancy bubbling cider.
We're not 21 yet.
To Dove Valley. No, but really, we will be in Dove Valley to bring you coverage of the football scrimmage there. Rachel, what are you going to be looking for?
Quarterback race. This is a huge time for Nick Stevens and for Coleman Key, but I'm definitely going to be looking at Coleman Key. He's a very athletic quarterback compared to Nick Stevens, who's very brainy, but he's got a good arm and he's definitely got the speed to get out of the pocket in trouble. So it'll be interesting, but I'm definitely excited to see Nick Stevens play as well.
It's going to be a hard race. Both quarterbacks had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception at the scrimmage. I think I've got it in for Nick Stevens. He's the brain guy. He's going to be the perfect combination of McElwain offense, be able to hook up with Hollywood Higgins and Mike Bobo offense. I think that he's going to be the perfect brain game for our team. I don't think he's going to have any trouble securing that spot.
Definitely.
And what about running backs? Who do you have for that?
I'm going with Jason Oden. He's a new name to Ram football, so he had 59 yards and 11 carries at the scrimmage on Saturday, so it was definitely a good game for him. It will be interesting, though, because he has played for the Rams, but he is like a new name to Ram football. And he's definitely a little bit more stockier than Trace Gerald's is, for sure.
Absolutely. Trace Gerald's, I think he's definitely got the experience. He ran 450 yards last season. He scored 6 touchdowns, and he also played in 10 games. However, he doesn't have the size. He's only 5'7" and 185 pounds, so I think that that's definitely going to be something that goes against him. But he's got the experience. He's got the playing time under his belt, so I don't think that he's going to have any problem next season at all.
No, yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting scrimmage on Saturday. So make sure to tune in on Tuesday and check out our coverage on thecollegian.com for that.
Carson and Caitlin will be back after the break to talk fashion and Cam the Ram. Stay tuned.
Today we will review one of the most convenient services the Laurie Student Center has to offer, shopping. The CSU bookstore boasts an unparalleled selection of CSU apparel and gifts. It also supplies students with textbooks as well as a number of office and school supplies for your every need. Another LSC shopping option lies in the Transit Center area. Snack food, beverages, personal care items, and school supplies. Cam's Lobby Shop is your go-to stop and shop.
Oh, hey there, Rams. Today is a great day to play in the LSC. So let's take a look at our ballrooms, theater, and art galleries. The LSC ballrooms, which are the busiest venue in northern Colorado, have been recently renovated. The Laurie Student Center Theater can be transformed to feature films, concerts, lectures, entertainment, and banquets. And last but not least, the Kerfman Gallery provides a showcase for the creations of local and student artists.
The design and merchandising students held a fashion show to a sold-out Lincoln Center this past Friday. The entire show is run by students, with groups setting up both the production and promotion aspects of the show. Before the show was a VIP section for ticket holders where they auctioned off baskets and goodies that the promotion team was able to acquire. Students in the fashion show production and event planning class plan, produce, and promote an annual CSU fashion show that was held at the Lincoln Center on April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. This fashion show is called Confluence and is supposed to represent the coming together. It's going to be a diverse show where all the senior students get to put together everything they've been working on throughout the entire semester. The end result included a full stage production, including theatrical set building, lighting, and over 40 models walking the runway.
For the show tonight, I designed a lingerie collection, and I was inspired by going to thrift stores and going to places like ARC and finding things that weren't necessarily used for lingerie, but I just wanted to make something beautiful and something that would complement the female body. So, each design student participating in the fashion show had a particular target market, product category, price range, and unique inspirations to help influence their designs. The designs included children's, maternity, rock climbing, yoga, transformational, as well as day and evening wear. I talked with students working in the VIP room before the show.
Feathery and it's risque and it's like bold colors, and I think it's going to shock the audience to see, but I think that it's done very beautifully and tastefully.
The hard work of these design and merchandising students paid off as they showed their collections to a completely sold-out Lincoln Center. The students involved in the fashion show spent over 3 months on this singular production. Make sure to check out more information about the fashion show on either the Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook accounts.
In breaking news tonight, Cam the Ram had some babies. Let's take a look at these cute little guys over here.
So cute!
Oh my goodness.
But the real question is, who's the baby mama?
That's true. Did not know about this. Does he have a girlfriend?
Is he married?
Is he married?
Did we miss a ceremony?
I don't know.
Oh,
the babies are really cute, though.
They are really cute.
Well, that's all the time we have this evening. Be sure and watch our interview show tomorrow at 6:30, where we will have a special guest from the CSU Vet Clinic.
Stay tuned tomorrow because during our 8:30 newscast, we will have a live announcement of who won the ASCSU presidential race. Thank you for watching. You can watch it live on Channel 11 and on thecollegian.com. Good night. 2.